everybody, and welcome to the 75th episode of the MyMuddlings podcast. I'm your host Julianne, and I'd like to welcome you all to the episode today. I'm so glad you could spend some time with me. I've got a few things to talk about. I'm going to try and keep it really short if I can, because I have some dyeing to do this afternoon for the mini market that I will be a part of. I'll talk about that a little bit later. So I've got some more dyeing to do for that today, just my last lot of dyeing, so hopefully I'll keep this kind of short. Two of the projects that I've been working on, I've only done minor amounts of work on, and don't have a lot to show for it, but I will show you. And I have obviously been working on the elephant in the room that is on me right now, and one other project that you haven't seen before. So we do have some interesting things to talk about, but without further ado, I will get on with it because, as I said, time is of the essence. And you will see here that I finally blocked my trellis work shawl that I showed you all last week that was finished, so that's it there. It actually turned out really well. It blocked out quite a bit, so it is a lot larger than what it was last week when it was all squished together. So, finished objects. I am wearing my rose cardigan. I finally decided that, you know, the only thing that was stopping me from having this as a wearable finished object was the collar. And like I said, I'm not really into a scarf knitting and things like that, and it was basically a very narrow scarf. And I had to knit two pieces about 30 inches each, so that wasn't the funnest thing to do, but it was the only thing that was between me and having this cardigan finished. And so I just bit the bullet earlier this week, and I'm like, I'm going to get these finished. So I'd already had one finished, so I knit the second one. Which I started on the weekend actually to do the second one, and I ripped it out about 4 different times, I think, because I decided because I use a little row keeper on my phone so I can keep track of how many repeats and rows and things like that I'm up to. And I decided in my infinite wisdom that I would count it. Instead of counting every row, instead of pressing the button every row, I would press the button every second row. And somehow doing that, I must have still been in every row mode, and I was pressing it too often, and I was doing my cable crosses too soon. So I was comparing the original collar piece with the second collar piece, and I'm like, yeah, this doesn't look the same. So I ripped it out multiple times until I just gave up and said, I'm just going to click the button every row just to make sure I'm doing this properly. So that is what I did. And then when was it? Tuesday, I started seaming it on. I had both edges finished and seamed them on. So this piece here that you can see, this bit here, that was the collar that I had to knit separately and seam on to the rest of the cardigan. It was a little bit, it hasn't been blocked yet, so it's a little bit, I'll stand up. You might be able to see here, it's a little bit dimply through this kind of region because on the very bottom, the ribbing and the collar are going the same direction, but then as soon as we get to the body of the cardigan, this is knit that way and this is knit that way. So the, widths of the stitches are different, but I just went 1 to 1, so 1 body stitch to 1 collar stitch. So it is slightly dimpled, but it's nothing that a blocking will not fix. So I wasn't super worried about it. And then once I got up the top here, it's pretty straight through here, and then by the time you get to the back, you're doing the knitting's all going the same direction again. So I just did 1 stitch to 1 stitch. So yes, it is finished, and I have pretty much worn it. When did I finish it? Tuesday evening I finished it, and I wore it yesterday, and I'm wearing it again today. So we happen to have a little bit of a cold weather snap here in Adelaide at the moment. Today I think is going to be 21 degrees Celsius, but I'll believe it when I see it. It's very drizzly, it's very grey, it's been quite cold. Poor Granger hasn't had a walk all week because it's been drizzling, because I'm a big wuss and I don't want to go out in the rain. So of course I haven't had a walk either. But yes, so my rose cardigan is done and I'm super thrilled with it. And I think in the end I used about 1950 odd yards of yarn in this. I didn't use, I still have 2 whole skeins I think from these 2 colours here left over. So I have 1 whole skein of each. So I didn't need to dye as much as what I actually did. But yeah, I'm really, really happy with it, and it's super warm, and it's in one of my favourite sweater bases, which is Wool of the Andes from Knit Picks. So yeah, I really, really love it, and I'm so glad that I've been able to get some wear out of it before it gets hot here again and it has to get put away till next year. So that is my one finished object. So I will quickly go through these 2 works in progress because there's not a lot to show for either of them. The first one is my Flax Light. So I have been knitting on this again. And I have a little bit more body. So, as Wool and Vine, I've heard her say that she was on Body Island. I am on Body Island. And I think I'm possibly not too far off. That looks about 12 inches, I think, and I think I need 15.5. So not too much further to go on that one. And it's like I've said before, it's literally just stockinette in the round. So yeah, not hugely entertaining, but I have still been working on that. And my other whip that I've not really got much to show for is Simon's socks. So I've still been taking these to work when I pick him up in the afternoons, and yeah, so that's about all I've gotten on there. So not a whole heap on those either. And my final work in progress, which is one that has been getting quite a bit of work over the last few days, is a shawl that I haven't shown you yet. Is called the Plumity shawl, and I first saw this on Molly of a Homespun Houses podcast. She was knitting it and I really loved what she was doing, so I basically just copied what she's doing. And it is by Melody Hoffman, who is the Mandarins podcast, I think. Now that I'm saying that, I feel like maybe I have spoken about this on the podcast before. I just don't remember. But this is where I am at. It is a triangular shawl that was started down at the point, and each row is getting bigger. And it just has these little eyelets in there. And basically what Molly of a Homespun House did with hers was she's used a sparkle base. I don't know if you can see, because that's what I've done. I've used my glitzy base, and it is combined with a lace weight mohair and silk. So because this isn't a base, the mohair is not a base that I carry myself. I contacted my friend Nicole, who's from the Cola Girl Collective, and asked if she had 3 spare skeins that she might let me buy off her. And so she very graciously agreed. So 2 of them I have kept just cream, because the body of my shawl is cream, and the other one I have coloured dyed in my dusty mauve colourway. I can't talk. Dusty mauve colourway, and that basically will be a piece that gets picked up off the edge, and it creates like a wedge off the edge. And then there's just some cool tassels. So I will hold that right up so that you can see. I believe that it was also a progress keeper that I got from Nicole on one of my yarn orders that I put through. So I don't know if you can quite see the halo, probably. So yeah, it's beautiful. It is so soft. The only thing is I'm concerned that I may be allergic to the mohair. which is weird because I've used mohair before and never had any problems. I'm just wondering whether maybe because of this type of mohair, which, by the way, I believe Nicole calls her myrtle base in her shop, it's very fluffy, and I'm thinking perhaps when I am knitting with it, the fluff is getting up in the air and getting stuck in my eyes and things like that, because I don't think I still have the picture. It wasn't a very good picture, but when I first started knitting on this, I ended up with a lot of swelling around my eyes, and my eyes were very itchy and quite bloodshot, and I thought perhaps it was because of the mohair. I'm not 100% sure whether that is still the case, because since I got my septum pierced, obviously I don't want to move it, and my nose, I've been having a lot of allergy symptoms just in general lately. So my nose has been very runny, and because I don't want to keep prodding at my new piercing with tissues and things like that, I've been taking an antihistamine every day. So it could be that I'm taking that antihistamine and that is what's making this not affect me as much. I'm still finding I feel like I have fibres in my eyes, like the fibres from the yarn are up in the air and I'm getting them in my eyes. So yeah, I'm just going to see how I go. I'm going to keep knitting on it because I am really enjoying it. And like I said, it is so soft and squishy and it's just beautiful to touch. Yeah, so I'm going to keep going on it, and hopefully I won't have the same allergic reaction that I have before. And now that I'm talking about it, I'm getting psychosomatic symptoms and I'm feeling like my eyes are beginning to water just by holding this. But yeah, so that is what I've mostly been working on, and like I said, it's soft and squishy and it's beautiful and I'm really enjoying it. So yeah, that's kind of it for what I've been working on. I haven't done any weaving. It is still, my loom is still sitting there next to me wishing that I would come and join it. But like I said, I've been preparing for Knit Spin Weave's 3rd birthday celebration that is on this Saturday, so the 20th of October, up in Clare. So I will be there. I will be driving up with Jess of the Sweater Collective. We will be heading up together, and yeah, so I've been basically preparing for that. I'll put in some little video that I took just before of some of the stuff that I have been dyeing. I've got to do, I think, another 4 colourways and a touch up on the dusty mauve that I dyed the other day. It's come out a little bit brown instead of mauve, so I'm going to do a bit of a touch up on that. So yeah, I've been doing some self-striping. I'm going to have some Christmas self-striping there, and yeah, and some fibre as well. I found some fibre that I really needed to dye, so there's going to be some dyed fibre there. So if you can make it between 10 and 2 p.m, 10 a.m, 2 p.m. on Saturday the 20th of October up in Clare, I would love to see you. There's going to be a bunch of us up there, so yeah, if you can make it, we'd love to see you. And yeah, I'll be doing some more dyeing for that this afternoon, so well, probably right after I edit this, so it'll probably still be this morning by the time I get to the dyeing. So thank you so much for watching. I'm going to leave it there, and yes, happy crafting. Have a lovely, lovely week, and I will see you again next week. Take care, everybody, and I hope you enjoyed this ultra short snapshot podcast, and I will see you next week. Bye.